In this video, I'm going to share the inspiring story of Patricia, who once feared mistakes, believing they equaled failure. But setbacks led her to journalism, resilience, and success. Later, she learned that mistakes are not a sign of failure. Rather, they are stepping stones to success and growth. Hey there, my amazing friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's me, your friend, Teacher Sam, and I'm so excited to have you here today. Today's story isn't just any story. It's a powerful tool to boost your English skills and accelerate your learning. As we follow Patricia's journey, you'll naturally absorb new words and phrases through context. Storytelling is one of the best ways to improve your English, helping you remember vocabulary and use it with confidence. By the end of this video, you'll not only enhance your conversation skills, sentence structure, and grammar, but you'll also boost your confidence, listening, and comprehension skills. Plus, you'll learn 3 powerful moral lessons and 5 essential vocabulary words to strengthen your speaking abilities. So, stay with me until the end. Are you ready? Let's get started! Patricia had always been afraid of making mistakes. From childhood, she was taught that errors equaled failure, and failure was something to be ashamed of. But life had other plans for her, and through a series of unexpected turns, she learned that mistakes were not the end. They were stepping stones to success. Growing up in a strict household, Patricia was taught to aim for perfection. Her parents believed that only the best grades, the best manners, and the best choices would lead to a successful life. This pressure weighed heavily on her, making her fear taking risks. She excelled in school, avoided conflicts, and always played it safe. But deep down, she envied those who dared to step out of their comfort zones. She wished she could take chances without the crippling fear of failure. However, her desire to please others kept her from exploring beyond what she knew. In her final year of high school, Patricia had her life mapped out. She was going to be a doctor, just like her parents had always dreamed. But a miscalculation on an important exam caused her to fall short of the grades needed for medical school. She was devastated. She felt like a failure, believing that all her hard work had been wasted. For weeks, she locked herself away, refusing to see her friends or family. But then something unexpected happened. One of her teachers, Mrs. Collins, reached out to her and said something that stuck with her. Mistakes aren't failures, Patricia. They're just redirections to where you truly belong. Still struggling with disappointment, Patricia hesitantly explored other career options. She had always loved writing, but she never considered it a real path. With encouragement from Mrs. Collins, she enrolled in a journalism class at a local college. At first, she felt like an imposter. This wasn't part of the original plan. But as she wrote her first article and saw it published in the college newspaper, she felt something she hadn't in a long time: joy. Her mistake had led her to something she loved, and for the first time, she questioned if failure was really a bad thing after all. As her love for journalism grew, Patricia landed an internship at a prestigious magazine. Excited, she threw herself into her work, determined to prove herself. But in her eagerness, she made a critical error. She misquoted an important figure in an article. The backlash was immediate. She was reprimanded by her editor and nearly lost her internship. It was her worst nightmare. She wanted to quit, to hide from the shame. But instead of running, she chose to learn. She spent weeks double-checking facts, verifying sources, and perfecting her writing. Slowly, she regained the trust of her colleagues, and her editor took notice. Instead of firing her, he saw her determination and mentored her into becoming an even stronger writer. Over the years, Patricia's career blossomed. She had built a reputation as a resilient journalist who never backed down from a challenge. But life tested her again when she was offered a dream job in another country. It was an incredible opportunity, but it required her to leave behind everything familiar. The fear of making a mistake loomed over her. What if she failed? What if she wasn't good enough? But then she remembered all the times mistakes had shaped her into who she was. Taking a deep breath, she took the leap. In her new role, Patricia faced difficulties adjusting to a different culture, new expectations, and an entirely unfamiliar environment. She made mistakes, many of them. She misunderstood assignments, struggled with language barriers, and even got lost on her first day. But instead of seeing these moments as failures, she embraced them as lessons. Each mistake taught her something new, making her stronger and more adaptable. She connected with new mentors, learned from seasoned professionals, and continued to grow. Her once crippling fear of failure had transformed into an appreciation for the learning process. Years later, Patricia had become an award-winning journalist. Her experiences had shaped her into a storyteller who understood that real success comes from persistence, not perfection. Wanting to share her journey, she wrote a book titled "Mistakes Are Not Failures: My Journey to Success." The book became a bestseller, inspiring thousands of people who feared failure just as she once had. She traveled the world, giving talks, mentoring young writers, and encouraging others to embrace mistakes as stepping stones to greatness. Now let's look at the 3 moral lessons from the story. 1. Mistakes are learning opportunities. Patricia's journey shows that mistakes are not the end, but rather a way to learn, grow, and find new opportunities. Instead of fearing mistakes, we should embrace them as stepping stones to success. 2. True success comes from resilience. Even when Patricia faced setbacks, she didn't let them define her. Instead, she worked hard, learned from her failures, and became a stronger, more skilled journalist. Success is not about never failing, but about never giving up. 3. Passion leads to true fulfillment. Patricia initially followed a path that others had chosen for her, but it was only when she pursued her love for writing that she found true happiness and success. This teaches us that following our passion can lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Patricia's story beautifully illustrates that every mistake she had ever made had led her to where she was meant to be. If she had never failed that exam, she would never have discovered her passion for writing. If she had never made that error in her internship, she wouldn't have learned the importance of resilience. Every setback had been a setup for a greater comeback. Her story proved to the world that mistakes are not signs of failure. They are the very experiences that shape success. And as she stood in front of a packed auditorium, ready to deliver yet another speech, she smiled, knowing that her journey was a testament to the power of learning, growing, and never giving up. I have the perfect book to guide you step by step in understanding how mistakes are not a sign of failure. This book will empower you with proven methods to embrace mistakes as stepping stones to success and growth, packed with real, practical guidelines. Click the first link in the description to download your book. This is a great way to support my work. Now, let's look at these 5 vocabulary words and how to use them in a sentence. 1. Crippling, meaning something that causes great difficulty or prevents progress. How to use crippling in a sentence. Example: her crippling fear of failure prevented her from taking risks for many years. 2. Redirections, meaning the act of changing course or finding a new path. How to use redirections in a sentence. Example: Patricia realized that her failure was not the end, but a redirection to something better. 3. Resilient, meaning able to recover quickly from difficulties. How to use resilient in a sentence. Example: despite facing criticism, Patricia remained resilient and worked hard to improve her writing. 4. Mentored, meaning guided or advised by someone more experienced. How to use mentored in a sentence. Example: her editor mentored her, helping her become a stronger journalist. 5. Stepping stones, meaning small steps that lead to progress or success. How to use stepping stones in a sentence. Example: she learned that every mistake was a stepping stone to becoming a better version of herself. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment on the moral lesson you learned from this video, And don't forget to click the first link in the description to download your book. This is a great way to support my work. See you in the next video.